Welcome back to part 2 of the how to install and run Validate-DCB. My name is Jan Mortensen, and as always we have a disclaimer. Be careful. Let's jump and have a look on what we can do now.
Okay, we are back here on the cluster, and the difference between the first time we were running this is if I go here and have a look on 31, you can see down here it's running 2019, and if I go to 33, this one is still running 2016, and we can see here in the PowerShell that I have two machines that has now been updated. So it's time to run the validation again, just to compare if we did everything correct. So I added two new machines, and of course there's a risk that I made a mistake or something like that. So let's see if the Validate-DCB can find my errors. So the first part looks good, everything is green, but in a second I think we're going to see a small error here. So let's look for it. There it is. So the challenge is that my virtual switch is deployed from VMM, and I'm using a port profile that is using host default, and host default has changed between 2016 and 2019. So the challenge is that I'm testing and expect to find a dynamic load balancing algorithm, but on the new ones I will find Hyper-V. So of course I will get two errors. So you will see here in a second when it's completed, we will end up having two errors showing up, and that's down here. And if I scroll up to the error, oops, that was one of them, you can see that it expected dynamic, but it found a Hyper-V port instead, and this was on 32. So 31 and 32 is the updated one. We can try to run the validation again, but this time I will just change the configuration to number 2, because in that file I'm doing exactly the opposite. I'm trying to find, or I'm testing against the Hyper-V port, but I will find 4 machines now with the dynamic. So that's just to show you how the cluster behavior is different, and you need to be a little bit careful if you use host default from UVMM in this case here. So again, in a moment here we should see 4 times this should pop up this red information. So it's really easy to use Validate-DCB to find something that is wrong or different between your cluster nodes. So here there was one, and we will see for every host it will repeat it again and again. And remember, this time we have asked the tool to give it a green if it's a Hyper-V port port algorithm, load balancing algorithm. So 4, and if we just jump up a little bit here, you can see it expected Hyper-V port, but it found dynamic. So it's really not an error, but it's difference in the behavior in this case here. Okay, so this was a really quick, let's say, way to use Validate-DCB to find something that is wrong. In the next one I will make a real mistake so we can see how it can find that. But once again, if you like what you saw, please subscribe, and I will come back with even more videos.